Young architects, including some from SciArc, find tremendous opportunities in Dubai, opportunities that are found nowhere else. With the number of available positions far outnumbering the available candidate supply, architects get choosy. Working in entry-level positions, young architects grind away in newly founded firms designing skyscrapers, new towns, and even man-made islands. In a city where iconicity is paramount, a mediagenic building should be worth the most, because it can charge the highest rents.
Not exactly. The cost to a developer in using an architect that designs an expensive building is never reclaimed by the building itself. Rent couldn't feasibly ever be high enough. But they are valuable as so-called lost leaders. A single building designed by someone famous will bring increased legitimacy to an entire development, raising values of multiple outlying buildings while losing money itself. This suggests the existence of an optimizable ratio between generic building and icon. What's the minimum number of icons per generic building you can have to remain profitable?
Dubai supports an influx of 25,000 new residents per month. That's a lot of end users. One would expect residential zones to be teeming with life. With all the potential risks involved in terraforming, economic and otherwise, there must be a shortage of good beachfront property to merit such a historic undertaking.
The assumption that people love water because they love being in it is unfounded. In Dubai, save for the European expat population, water is a substance only good for looking at or over. Numerous examples of inland water bodies prove that its value does not reside in being good to be in. The economics, of course, are on the side of the developer in this case.
Even taking into account the projected population numbers, doesn't Dubai risk an oversupply of waterfront property? It can't be sold at a premium if there's enough for everyone.
The existing coastline of Dubai is largely underdeveloped. Its density is some of the lowest in the city. But sales trends don't point to any slowing in the market. Among waterfront property, there is an extreme fineness in the variation of types offered. On the marketing side, developers have exhausted almost all the geographic nomenclature in the English language for land formations near water. Lake, lagoon, marina, bay, beach, creek, canal, spring, island, all exist as discrete environments. Among these, there is a further narrowing to taste and budget as well. As we have seen at Palm Jumeirah, property values change from high to low as you move outward from the stem, where the water becomes almost twice as wide.
Shopping is one of Dubai's primary assets. The number and scale of the malls in Dubai make the city the regional leader in shopping.
The enormous amounts of money pumped into the retail sector of Dubai have encouraged a diversity of mall types. There is evidence of a loss leader model in malls as well. The highest end malls function more like parks. They are free to enter, unlike the city parks. The merchandise in these stores is too expensive for most people to shop casually. Instead, they provide an appealingly luxurious backdrop for what is primarily a space for socializing.
The souk is a heritage element in Dubai, an important bastion of culture.
Indeed, one would point to the souk as an authentic experience. There are souks everywhere in the city. The lower-end malls are also referred to as souks, though they lack any of the architectural cues we know are supposed to exist in the more traditional versions. After you get into the mid-range of malls, it is no longer appropriate to call them souks. In Dubai, souk is a word that implies an increased density of people. It describes gold, spices, and swords, the myth and vitality that makes it an attractive destination in every Middle Eastern city. It can therefore be used to increase marketability in the otherwise unattractive sector of commerce comprised of low-priced bulk household goods. Dubai is able to disguise a large number of these unsightly outlets throughout the city by calling them souks. If it weren't called souk, in fact, it would be disturbing that so many poor people were gathering in the same place.
Property companies in Dubai spend a sizable fortune on advertising their signature developments. For the foreign onlooker, the varied promotional materials work in concert to assert the impression of a vast group of iconic towers engaged in epic competition for attention.
The reality is not so. Except for Sheikh Zayed Road, which contains a disorderly but nearly complete collection of all the architectural styles that occurred between the late 1970s to today, the vast majority of towers are generic and boring. But not to the detriment of the developers. Many cities in the world, especially ancient ones, have realized that architectural form doesn't have to be interesting in a single building, but that it can be impressive through repetition of the same building over a field. Dubai may be the first city to have fully embraced the economic logic behind duplicating towers.
Dubai is an Arab's view of what a Western city should look like.
Actually, it's closer to the Western view of how Arabs would build the Western city. Although most developers are Emiratis, the majority of design firms are led by people educated in the West. The largest design projects are typically done by firms operating outside of the Middle East altogether.